completely immersed in spirit. Not merely in sort of like what we call human love or excitement or this type of the things which come from merely from conditioning. But to be immersed in what you may call the Holy Spirit, or the Divine Spirit, or you may call presence, it is the same thing. That is your kept being. Everything you move, when I keep using the example, I know people have been making a joke of it now, and I say that if you have the flu for 2 weeks, and I'm hearing when you got the flu for 2 weeks here, you do nothing. Whereas when the flu is here, things still go on and still something happen. But the example is good enough because I say in that what I was aiming at, what I was driving at in that example, is that whatever it is that takes place while you're in that state, say we get the example of flu, there may be better examples and look for them. But whatever you're doing, it is happening in and out of that state. And when your life is not the life of your mind, the life of your being, the life of the self, it should be a life that is immersed in being, in presence, in the Holy Spirit. And people have different orientations because some people they don't believe in God. Okay, this is fine, whatever. Then for those they develop more the sense of presence, and those people who have more strong philosophical temperament, they will be more finding the appeal of like self-inquiry, the more either intellectual orientation or philosophical orientation. They come into the same place because ultimately the true is beyond all the expressions. But for those who are somehow graced with that love for God, or whose heart is the sort of more the heart of feeling and intuition and surrender, then you will experience your existence will be the undercurrent of this is always this immersed in this river of joy, this vibrancy, this vibration, this current of joy of the being, or what I would call the Holy Spirit, or the Divine Spirit, the Divine Being. And somehow that was what I was equating with being in the flu state, that everything takes place in that. So it doesn't matter, no activity can draw you out and to make your mind the activity. The activities are happening, but they are all encompassed in the spirit of being, isn't it? And this is a growing and expanding field, in the sense that, in fact, it is not expanding. It is constant, but it will be experienced as expanding because of our dynamic and functional existence. As the identity, personal identity, is being replaced or transformed into more or spiritual nature, then because the person is a very exhausting state, don't we find like that? Because it is always negotiating and it's always comparing, and if its projections are not satisfied, it drops back into sort of judgments and resentments and so on. It's a very, very heavy state. Whereas as you become more aware of the space behind the person, you see, it's a much lighter field. Then you feel the fullness of awareness. From the perspective of the person, from the mind, it looks more like, well, without my person, without the substance, without the story of my life, where is my life? You see? But without the story, going beyond the story, you feel your full existence. And a story just feels like just another novel. It just feels like another kind of novelty. Even a being doesn't need any novelty. But The story just feels like another kind of fiction, another fictitious. It loses its grip. This is why I refer to it sometimes as a kind of hypnosis, an hypnotic state. That the beingness somehow gets pulled into a state of hypnosis where it's believing itself to be merely personal. And here you're called beyond this person, you see. Because even in the expression of religion, which is meant to be the hall that takes you into the room of truth. And not even the hall, I mean, it's meant to somehow invite, not only invite, but expose and introduce and unite your being in that. Sometimes, as I said, and I've been saying more recently, if your personal or tribal identity is preserved, I don't feel that you have accomplished your fullness. That can be there also, but it should not be the highest aspiration. It has to be that your true freedom, it goes beyond every category. And the only thing that is beyond the category is that emptiness. As long as there's a sense of somethingness, then it will maintain a quality. It will start to express preferences and deep preferences. And when there's preferences, there'll be likes and dislikes. There's the judgments. There's the kind of separation. When you look from the place of awareness, separation itself becomes phenomenal. Does anybody see this or not? Mm-hmm. You see, and this is to the glory of the true. Because then you are out of every and any trap. And I want to see that these things are really taken inside and that you present yourself with your entire being and be totally up. Don't be carrying two baskets if you're searching for the truth. Just come and be totally available, totally open, totally present, totally ready to say yes, fill me with you, with your presence, with your love, or replace me with you, or bring me home to the full truth, or whatever it is. But you must come full ready. Not not like you're in a supermarket picking and choosing, but that you've come to the till. It has to be this openness. And then your life comes alive, Lena. If you're merely negotiating on behalf of the ego, it's not good enough. If you're trying to find out what is good for your ego, what will be good for you for today, and you're still holding on to a kind of tribal identity, a localized identity as a person or something, then I say you cheat yourself. You're cheating. Come as though today is your day. Rise this day like this day is your day. Not later this day, now this day. And I don't want to put it on human shoulders. I don't want to put this opportunity on human shoulders. But to call each one to their own divine nature, which is no distance away. It's no distance away. It's not like it's in another place. It's waiting to happen and all of this. We are encouraging and supporting and being loyal to a lot of avoidances, and projections, and postponement. And I'm here to tell you, what you say you're searching for is ever present. Let it begin in presence. And this is why I'm not asking that anybody just engage their mind. I don't have any faith towards the humanized mind. And this you have to transcend. So in the beginning it might seem some effort is required, like if you, as an example, if your car battery runs flat, and you turn the engine, boom, 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 nothing. Boom, boom, boom. And you say, oh my God. You have to see if you can find some help to give you a push. Then you also have to know how to start a car from flat battery also on the run. And then effort is required to people push. Once it fires up, no more effort is needed. Once it's really fired up, it can go by itself. Sometimes once we are again fired up inside, then your life will be carried, not forced, not pushed. If you're finding in your life you're pushing and pushing, it's because somehow we still have our consciousnesses divided. You see, you want to preserve something of the old nature, of the old identity. So you're not fully open for that. And to that extent, we will move in a division. And when you move in division, you move very slowly. You'll go 2 steps forward, 1 back. Or sometimes 2 forward, 3 back. It will feel like this. And nothing, in terms of the discovery of truth, you have no natural enemy in the universe, except the one that is sprouting inside, through the mind, the identity. You see. And don't ask that time should be merciful to you, because time can be merciless if you embrace only that old identity. Because inside, nothing here is imperfect. It's fully real, fully true. See? But if we are somehow walking on 2 roads, it's not going to be easy. First, put your full attention inside the heart. Be fully there, and then go wherever you wish. After that, go wherever you want. Because your wants will unify themselves in your heart, and they will be the wants of God. If you want to put like that, you will go and move. You will not have to be strategizing your existence. Life doesn't become a chess game anymore. I'm not saying it becomes bed of roses, because there always has to be some tension in the life to keep the consciousness alert. Because as long as the vital breath and the body's there, the consciousness is there, the play of duality will always all be there. But it will not overcome you. When you can see in duality, non-duality. When you see in diversity, unity. Then everything is well. Yes. So essentially, it's not. I don't want our contact to be emphasizing teaching and learning so much, because the mind is always going to be involved, and it's a trustworthy and realm by itself, but more to inspire the remembrance and the recognition of yourself, what the self is. The self cannot be described. It doesn't have a birthday, it does not have a death day, it has no astrological signs, it's neither male nor female, it favors no particular religion, though it expresses itself through all of them. You see, the self is not imagination. It is not fantasy. And yet all of these are known as mere shadows arising in its light. The self is not abstract. It is not a notion, it's not a concept, and it's not an object. It has no image, no form. And yet all forms take their birth in it and are perceived in it. To whom am I referring? Where are you? Where do you come in this? Who are you in this? Are you also an appearing object in this? Or are you the perceiving subject? This is my question. You determine. Are you merely an object arising and being perceived in the awareness? Or are you yourself not the perceiving? Are you not the object of perception? Are you the object of perception? Or the perceiver of the object? Or the perceiver of that which is perceiving everything else? And don't get lost. Because beyond all these things is the indivisible one. And whenever I use the word beyond, I'm not talking about beyond in a spatial way, not beyond in some linear or in some terms of distance, but beyond in terms of subtlety. You are the subtlest, because you are the one who is aware of even the concept of subtlety and the experience of subtlety. But there is a weight that's pulling like a gravity on your attention to go back into the realm of duality and to make your bed there. Go anywhere, but don't make your bed there. In fact, don't have any bed. Why do I speak like that? Because where I'm speaking from is ever present. It's always here. And what I'm pointing to is life itself. That which gives life to life. And this is why I say that I'm never concerned about the future. It's not my domain. For future you need a kind of mind, and for desire future you need to be a person. But what replaces all this is that unbroken nowness, the timeless now. When you've not realized this, then we then pick up the concept of time, past, present, future, like that. But these are secondary concepts. Something is standing quite apart from all concepts, in whose light concepts are perceived. As I'm speaking, you only confirm, if you can. You can feel right where you are. Because my words are not going to lay eggs. I don't want to give you words that lays eggs in you, that destroy what is untrue. Wash away what is untrue. You see? Leave you empty. Because a human being must know emptiness. The emptiness that I speak about. It's not some sterile state as would be portrayed or presented through the mind. It cannot be described. And yet, it cannot be denied also. It's only the mind that is rendered empty through devotion or through wisdom that can accommodate, you can put it like that, the power of the presence. It will not share itself with a person. Will not sit in the same chair. So this is not a karaoke satsang. It's not about following something like this, but to check inside your own self. And to see where these words are breathing inside you. What is there? And who watched them? And then somehow you have to recognize, acknowledge, confirm, affirm your true place. And over and over and over again, not as a chore, but as pure delight. Because each time you rescue again your mind and your attention, from the ego, there's just pure delight. It's a joy, not work. For a while it can seem like work. Very good. Thank you.
It is for you.